We're delighted to be here and represent different ideas. None of us has the exact same idea, and that's why we go through and do what we do. I help co-author with Representative Chumley, House Bill 3650, and it is the Voluntary Infrastructure Funding Act. And yeah, you heard the word voluntary. That's a little different than a mandatory tax, at least in part. And it has about 7 parts in the bill that I'm gonna hurriedly go through. I've got about 3 to 5 minutes, they tell me. And, but first of all, I wanna tell you what was in the bill and we chose not to put it in. And that is, we believe that the Legislative Audit Council should perform an audit at DOT. When they start spouting out figures like we need $1.5 billion with a B, and you need all this money, then the folks of South Carolina certainly deserve to know it's going to be well spent. And so we feel like the Finance Division and the Administrative Division and the Construction and Engineering and Planning Division all need to be in compliance with performance with the Act 114, which was passed back in 2007. And we think it's pretty ridiculous to just fall in to say we need all that money without knowing that it's being well spent and going to the proper vendors through the proper processes. And so that's not in the bill, but I will tell you that about 25 or so members from the Senate and about 25 to 27 members this week from the House signed affidavits asking the Audit Council to perform that audit. And I also believe the House did a resolution this week for the same thing. But enough said about that. That's not in the bill. What is in the bill, I'm going to hurriedly go through, and then we can answer questions if you have any appropriately. And also, I need to tell you, Representative Chumley regrets not being here. He previously was scheduled to be at a poor place to be on our coastline called Myrtle Beach this weekend, and so he's away from us. But anyway, the things that are in this bill, 3650, first of all the extra money that would be appropriated in this bill would have to go to repair and maintenance for roads and bridges. Not any of the other things that the other 16 cents that we take up go to. Has to go to maintenance and repair. Take care of those craters that our moderator just talked about. The second thing, these 18,000 miles of these short, less than 1 mile controversial roads that many think the county should take, or the municipalities that the state has on its rolls for the 44,000 miles of roads. When these roads get repaired with these funds, then they'll be offered over to the county, but not forced. The county or the municipality can take a brand new redone road if they choose to. If they don't want it, they're not forced to take it. That's part of the legislation. The third bullet point in the legislation I'd like to point out is that the funds will be collected at the retail point instead of at the wholesale point, and the department would have to amend the sales tax return to accomplish this. Got pages of notes here to go to, but not very many. All right, now we get to the meat of the bill. The first part of the bill, provision A, the user fee increase in addition to the 16 cents would be 21 cents additional tax or user fee. And it would, the first part would accomplish a third of that money, we're told, is out-of-state people who come through our state. And that 21 cents, they would have to pay the additional 21 cents. That's over 1 billion gallons sold to outside people in the state each year. And our BEA estimates that could be up to $235 million extra money in the coffers for our state. All right, jump on to provision B. All commercial vehicles in our state would also pay the extra 21 cents. And the estimate there is about $90 million of extra funds. Then provision C would be those in our state. Many people have told me from time to time, and a lot of our legislators, that they would be interested in paying more money and to get our roads fixed. And so we have a provision in there. If you choose to pay more at the pump, all you got to do is pay the extra 21 cents. You would keep your receipts if you chose to, and there's a provision in here that you could write off on. You can get a state income tax credit to up to 10% of the additional user's fee that you pay. So then you might ask, well, how many people are going to do that? And that's an unknown, and the BEA just assumed to make a minimal assumption that 5% of our people would be willing to do that. Well, make a note of this, if 5% choose to do that, that's an additional $100 million each year. If 20% of our people chose to do that, that would, that would just add another $300 million to that figure. Provision D, that's the volunteer portion of the tax. There are a lot of people, I get a tremendous amount of emails from people who say they're poor people, they're students, they're making a choice between buying food, paying their power or their heat bill, medical supplies, and they just don't feel like they can stand an additional gas tax. So the fourth provision in here is for a South Carolina resident with a valid South Carolina driver's license. You could go into the store where you buy your gas, present your state ID, and you would be exempted from paying the extra 21 cents user fee. And, we probably should have named this bill the Buy Low card bill. All of you are familiar with the Buy Low card. Go into Spinks and swipe your Buy Low card, and you get so many cents off. Or you go to Walmart and you get so many cents off. Same would be true with your South Carolina driver's license. And my wife told me, she said, I'm not interested in going in. We'll pay the extra 21 cents when I fill up. I'm not going in. Well, we all are aware also that there's the technology available. Punch in your zip code on your credit card and the metallic strip on the back of your license. The technology is already there if they choose to do that, where you can pay at the pump and prove that you're a South Carolina resident. So to recap really quickly, if you had $235 million from the out-of-staters, $90 million from commercial vehicles, $100 million from the 5% volunteers, then you raise $425 million. If 20% decided to participate in the voluntary plan, you'd have $725 million. No, it's not $1.5 billion, and I'm probably one that would tell you I don't believe that we need $1.5 billion to get our roads where we're not embarrassed by them. But anyway, that's the nuts and bolts of the plan, and at the proper time, I'll be happy to ask any questions.